Hey, Scott Savage here for Scorpion Radio Group. Today, we've got a special guest in the studio with us, Mr. Greg Shiley from ShileyAcres in beautiful Inwood, West Virginia, my neck of the woods. Greg, how are you today, sir?
Great. It's great to be here on Scorpion Network Radio. I'm glad you all had us up here, Scott. It's just a beautiful afternoon up here in eastern Pennsylvania and just having a ball up here.
You know, ShileyAcres has been a mainstay in the area for many years. Lots of big bands have come through there, namely Kix, Wrathchild, America, and many local bands who have gone on to bigger and better things. So what possessed you to start ShileyAcres back in '79?
Well, as you know, we started in 1976. It kind of got started over a bet and over doing outdoor shows on a farm that my mom and dad had there in South Berkeley County. And took a year to put the show together. And so we started doing local talent, local shows. And the first time we done a show, we had 4 bands on the show. Starship was on it, Cartoon City was on it, Sunstorm was on it, and a band called Fly out of Winchester. We just put this show together. We had $2,800 in it. We sold about 75 tickets. And the morning of the show, at the end of the day, we'd done about 2,200 people at $4 a head, and we were on our way.
Very good, very good. So this many years later, okay, you've done, again, so many shows, so many major bands have come through, and then, of course, with the economy kind of hit, things were kind of slow, but now you're back into this thing full swing. The very first time you reopened it again here just a couple of years back, we had Kix come out there, and it just took off again. So everybody is now in love with ShileyAcres again. Why is that?
Well, everybody, it kind of all got together with, we were doing shows, and as you know, back in the early 90s, video music almost destroyed live performance music. You could go down to a video store, you could rent a tape for $5, and you could have whatever band you wanted on your television in your living room on any given day or night. Live music kind of fell by the wayside. We felt the pinch the same as everybody else. We weren't drawing the crowds that we had drew back through the 70s and the 80s, and it was falling off. So my wife and I had 6 kids to raise. She had 4 boys, and I had a boy and a girl, and we had them from 4 years old to 18 years old. So we decided, I got mad at an agent in 1993, and I said, you know what, I think it's time to take a year off. And he said, you're too big. You won't do that. So one turned into 18 years. And then my sons, they all grew up around ShileyAcres, and they heard all the stories about ShileyAcres. I've got pictures of Josh performing when he was 3 years old with Molly Hatchet on stage. And they had never experienced it. Debbie Hoover put together a thing called ShileyAcres back in the good old days. We started watching her website. Chris brought it to me at first, the oldest stepson. He brought it up. He's into music. He still plays in a band. He was in Cassandra Syndrome. They performed there year before last. And he wanted to play on that stage from the time he first picked up a guitar. That was a dream of his. So we decided that it was time for that to come, as much as he had done for me over the years, it was time for that to come true for him. And it was June of 11. I went out there you always get the itch in the spring for concert season.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, we always opened in May, and it was the first week in June, and I went out there one Sunday morning. I farm, and I had cattle out there in that field. And you walked out there stage, and the trees that grew up in front of the stage, you couldn't even see it. You couldn't tell there was a stage there other than there was a roof of something there. Most people thought it was a barn. And so I kind of had the itch and had the feel and walked around talking to myself out there a little bit. And because I lost my dad in 1996, and when he died, he gave me a farm, and I asked him what he wanted me to do with it. He said, I want you to either put cattle back on or go back in the concert business. Well, it wasn't time to go in the concert business yet, but it was in 11. So I had an old loader sitting there, hadn't run for 2 years. And I got to looking at that old loader, and I thought, you know what? If I'm going to try to fire that thing up, if that thing starts, I'm going to be able to see that stage when the sun goes down. Well, I seen the stage, and the itch got stronger, and we started putting it together. And the boys wanted to live that too. And the kids today heard all of these rumors and stories about ShileyAcres back in the day.
Oh, yes.
So it was only fair that open up with the bands from back in the day.
Absolutely.
And with times changing and new bands coming on board, HELLYEAH was the first band that's modern era that came to ShileyAcres.
Yes, sir.
And our motto's always been, since we've been in business, and one of the reasons we've been so successful is you come a stranger and leave a friend. And they came there. We're a unique venue. We're not like Jiffy Lube. We're not like the shows in Baltimore. We're not like Rock on the Range. When you come to ShileyAcres, you see people you know. We don't have pyrotechnics, and we don't have big lights, and we produce quality music through a quality sound system with DSL through bands. My bands deserve to sound the best that they can and the best that they can be at our shows. I'm particular about sound. That's why I haven't changed sound companies in 30 years. Bill and DSL, we've been together a long time. Scott Murphy, those guys do a stand-up job for me. It's quality music, and that's what we're looking for. We're particular about who goes on ShileyAcres stage. We don't put bands on there that buy on. You earn your position there. You earn your position whether you're local or whether you're a national act. And that's what our success has been. And our success back in the day, I mean, there's a lot of people that they like to see the older shows, and they like to see the shows of back in the day.
Sure.
Which we do too. I grew up on Kix music. I grew up on Scorpions. I grew up on Def Leppard. Those are I grew up, I'm a Southern rocker. Molly Hatchet used to come by and just visit when they're coming through town, and they've played our stage 5-6 times. The Outlaws, I could go on for Joan Jett. I could go on for a couple of hours, but the thing of it was, in the past, when we were back in the day, we were doing what was current. We weren't doing what was old. We were doing what was new. And that's what made success. And that's what the future of ShileyAcres is. It's doing what's current and what's success. When we put HELLYEAH on stage, they were just coming out with their first album. And they've been very, very successful. Each year it's been better. The local bands that we have, Defending Cain, Silver Tongue's been there. The School of Rock last year was one of the greatest additions that we ever made to ShileyAcres. That has been a joint venture that I am nothing but surprised of every time they go on that stage.
Those kids are absolutely amazing. They are absolutely amazing. And that's the next generation of musicians,
Sure.
and they've got to have some place to start. And it's great that you open up your stage to give them that shot. I mean, that's what local music is all about, giving the underdog kind of his shot to come up there and show you what they've got.
Well, we will never. My parents taught me that you never forget how you got where you are. Remember who got you there. This ladder that we climb, whether you're a band, whether you're a venue, whether you're a radio station, it doesn't matter. Whether you're a sound company, you meet the same people on the way up. You're going to meet them again on the way down. How you're treated is how you treated them on your climb. And in the future, how you treat them on your decline. Because those are the people, the fans make us. The bands make us. Hell, I ain't nobody. I'm just the one they see. There's 200 people that's behind the scenes at ShileyAcres.
Absolutely.
Radio stations.
Yep.
They just recognize me. It used to be I could sneak up on people, and not anymore. But people are paying attention.
Absolutely, and it's huge. I mean, you've made yourself a huge name in this area. Even internationally, folks are talking about coming out to ShileyAcres in Inwood, West Virginia, because they know of the quality of you mentioned earlier, the sound. When you go out to ShileyAcres, you hear the sound. It's not like fuzzy and muddy. It's crisp, it's clean, it's loud, but it's not overbearing. You can pretty much walk anywhere on the property and still hear a good show. So if you walk away to go get a drink or something like that, you're still hearing quality music, whether you're up against the stage or further back. So that's one huge thing that we can say about that, and you're absolutely correct as far as your sound quality goes.
Well, one of the things that I learned, I was smart enough to learn at a very early age in business and in everything I've done. My father taught me that you're only as good as the people you're surrounded by. I've surrounded myself with great musicians, because we're in an area where we have great music. We have great musicians right here in the Quad State area.
Yes, we do.
We have great local talent. We have great regional talent. I'll put the bands that go on my stage up against anybody in the damn country anytime they want to do it. And we surround ourselves with some of the greatest artists in the world nationally. Chad Gray, lead singer, came from Mudvayne. Vinnie Paul, Pantera. Tommy Maxwell from Nothing Face. You put these guys together and Hell Yeah was born, and it's one of the greatest shows. Now Kyle's come on board and Christian's come on, and this band is just going wherever in the hell they want to go. The right. Hellions are on board. Right. We're going to raise some hell, and we're going to put on a show. And adding Mushroomhead, they were back in the day. They've been around forever. They're still a great band. One of the greatest performing bands that you'll ever see. Defending Cain, there's a regional band. They're regional now. They were local out of hell. They grew up with my kids in the backyard. But
also down in our neck of the woods in Inwood.
Yeah, I mean, they just, great bunch of guys. They're doing great. They've been with us. They sat on our staff at ShileyAcres on everything that we decide to do. It's not hard to find them. All I got to do is look around the supper table on given evenings, and there they are. And, you got the new bands that come up. To Monroe is another band that's born out of the School of Rock. And they have an album deal that's releasing, I think, in September. It's going to be a spectacular album. Failure Anthem is out of South Carolina. They're releasing a new album in September. They're an up-and-coming group. I mean, it's one of the finest shows you're ever going to see. So,
and when is that coming up, by the way?
That's coming up on August 8th. This year has been totally insane trying to book a show. Bands the European market has opened up earlier every year. So now, it used to be they opened in July. Now they're opening in May. There's a lot of our bands are having, American bands are going to Europe, having all kinds of success. It's just spectacular. And I don't default any of them for doing it. They need to be over there. They need to sell CDs. They need to sell albums. They need to sell merchandise, and they're making good money. The big shows here, you got Rock on the Range opening in May. You got Rocklahoma that's in May. You got Carolina Rebellion that's going on. You got the big show coming up in Philadelphia in September with Papa Roach. And all these big shows are going on. Godsmack's out there touring. And Shannon, I mean, he grew up on my stage. I can't say enough about him back in the Wrathchild days.
Absolutely.
And the success that he's had. Anybody that watched Shannon Larkin play when he was 12 years old knew exactly. We didn't know what band he'd be in, but we knew damn well he was going to the top. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Exactly.
And Kicks as well with the success they had. Steve Whiteman, one of the greatest frontmen you ever seen. And we all knew that they were going to make it to the top, and they did.
And they're still doing their thing today.
They're still doing their thing today. Here, we're 30 years. I don't want to tell my age, but hell's far. Look at me. I'm old. I'm gray. I look like a knocked up midget, for Christ's sake.
The visualizations here. The visualizations. But no, in all seriousness, too, and it's not just the rock thing that you've done. You've also done country. We were talking earlier. You had a wedding out there, and you're working on doing a wine tasting festival.
Yep, that's coming up in September. Had a meeting on it earlier today. Partner of mine, H.D. Boyd, I partnered with H.D. when we went back up. He handles the alcohol side of ShileyAcres. He's a fine young man. He opened up a steakhouse, and he owns WV Pub, and he just opened up Boyd Steakhouse downtown Martinsburg. You're downtown, you want to get a great steak, stop by. I mean, he's a fantastic person. He's a smart young kid. I call him a kid. He ain't a kid. He's a man. but he's a kid to me. But they're all kids to me, and you too, Scott.
Well, I may be, I might look a little young, but believe me, I've got a couple of years on me, that's for sure. But that being said, if a band wanted to get a hold of you to, say, submit material for consideration, what would they have to do?
They can go on our website at ShileyAcres.net. And go on our website, click on and submit your material, submit your CDs to us, videotapes, whatever you have. Send it to us. These decisions are not only made by me, but the final decision is made by me. Sure. But my wife, my sons, members of Defending Cain, they all sit on our staff. HD sits on our staff. Blake Truman sits on our staff. And these people all comment, and we put our heads together. I deal with agents all over the world now. I'm starting to deal with a couple of agents in the United Kingdom, and but I'm still dealing also with the agents I dealt with 30 years ago.
See, and it's still, even to this day, people still want to come out here because, again, once they heard Shiley was reopened, that's all anybody ever talked about. You could see it on Facebook, just exploding. You could hear it over all these other radio stations. My former employer, your current partners with another radio station up there. So, it's everywhere at this point. It's huge. And that's a big deal for us, and it's a big deal for you because we want to try to get more people to recognize you, to come out to the venue, check it out. I mean, it's a great time. It really is. The camaraderie, there's never any trouble. Many times as I've been out there, everybody has always been friendly. We've never really had any problems. It's a fun time. I mean, you could almost, bring the family out and have a good time, So it's great for everybody.
Well, our shows are all age shows. And we, like I say, we're a very unique venue. We let people, I walk up on stage and I'll tell people now, we let people spend the night. If you want to camp after the show, you just camp there. If you've had too much to drink, we understand that. We don't want you out on the road. My neighbors don't need to be hurt or maimed, and none of our fans we want hurt or maimed. We want you to help all the bands and ShileyAcres keep rock and roll and you alive. We don't want you to drink and drive. We sell alcohol. One of the reasons we sell it is so we can control it. It's the state of West Virginia has found over the years that that's the best way for it to be handled nowadays, and it works great. And I was scared to death by selling alcohol because I didn't know a damn thing about it. Now I knew what to do with it once I got my hands on it, but I didn't know how to market it.
We were always just used to bringing in the coolers back in the day.
That's what we did back then.
Unfortunately, with the laws changing, you really can't do too much of that anymore because you do have to have the controller, as you said. Well, listen, we've got to cut this thing. As much as we would love to stay and talk to you, we definitely appreciate you taking your time to come all the way up from Inwood to talk to us today. Greg Shiley, thank you very much. Where can people get more information about ShileyAcres?
Go to our website at ShileyAcres.net. Tickets are on sale now. You can buy them online, or we also advertise all the places. We still sell tickets out through our vendors.
Check it out, ShileyAcres.net. All the concert listings are going to be up there. You post stuff as it comes out. So and I know you kind of like to keep it hush hush until you get everything settled because people are always going to speculate. What's going to be next. So that's the big thing, and people like that. But we want to thank you for taking your time again to come up here, Greg Shiley, for your time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me. It was great being here, and I look forward to working with you all in the future.
We appreciate your time, sir, once again. Scott Savage here signing off. We'll talk to you next time.